So as you can see, today we have this Toronto Red M4 in because we're going to be adding a decent amount of carbon to the car. Here we have a CSL Style front lip. As you can see, it already has a front lip on there. We're not really sure what company or style this is, but we're gonna have to go ahead and remove that. And then we're also gonna be throwing on some side skirts. This thing already has a decent amount of other modifications done to it, like the front grille. I think it has a Vorsteiner front grille. It has some other carbon bits here and there, but I will say this spec is pretty nice. For one, the Toronto Red looks amazing on this car. I think it suits it very well, but I think the best kind of matchup is the interior. He has the Silverstone interior, and I think with the red, it's the perfect combo. Kind of like the green and the orange on my car, but yeah, huge fan of this. And then we are gonna be throwing some spacers on the front as well, just to tie everything together. So let's go ahead and get this car in here and get started on this. We've done it before on multiple cars, my car for one. So this should be pretty simple, and I think we should be able to make this car look even better than it already looks. So first things first, we got the wheel off, and I think we're gonna tackle the front lip first, and then we'll probably put this on my ramps, and then from there do the side skirts because it'll be easier without the jack in the way. So for the front lip, again, I'm not really sure what brand this is, but as you can see, it's not really mounted to the stock mounting hardware like the new lip is going to be. So we're gonna have to remove a lot of the hardware, loosen up this wheel well liner, and then from there, we should be able to pull this back and see maybe if there's just some screws underneath. But yeah, I think that's what's holding it in from right now, as well as some tape. And then the new one is actually gonna replace the stock piece that's back here. I've already see that this is being held on by a lot of tape. And then the other issue is that since this lip doesn't mount to the stock mounting points, it's actually been rubbing against the paint here. So that's one thing that you kind of have to be careful of with these aftermarket lips. I don't like this style for that exact purpose, because the other one kind of sits into the groove right here. But this one, as you can see, not sure how much, but I'm glad we're catching it early so it doesn't get worse over time. I will say, after we install this new front lip, we are gonna be upping the quality on the install overall, because right now this is held up by multiple different screw types, and I don't think it's the most secure front lip. And again, I don't like the fact that it damages the body here. So if you guys are thinking about getting a front lip like this one, probably stay away from it. I don't think it's the best for the car, nor does it look the best. So you're better off just spending a little extra money and going with that CSL Style front lip. And I believe this should come off now. Let's see, what else is holding it on? There we go. Yeah, so it looks like it was just stuck on with a decent amount of tape. Honestly, that screw that sits right back here is always the hardest to get off, but I've done it a few times now. It makes it a lot easier. It's actually crazy how hard it is the first time because you don't expect it to sit the way it does. But just like that, we got our stock fin off. So we had the stock piece and then we had the new lip piece, and they kind of just sat on top of each other like this. But the good thing is now the new lip will completely replace both of these, so we won't have to worry about them. Obviously we'll keep them to the side so the owner can keep them if he wants to, but I don't think he'll be using this one again. Maybe this one, not this one. So I was gonna just go ahead and put the new lip piece on right here, but I don't know how it's gonna match up with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the entire center section of the old lip, and then from there I'll start putting on the new lip right here. The only downside is that I think we might be missing some hardware. So I'll go ahead and see if we can find some and replace everything that had these Phillips bolts in there. So yeah, like I said, we're trying to make this car better than how it was when it showed up. Yeah, definitely a lot of tape. I hope you guys can see what I'm dealing with here. Ah, come on. That took a lot longer than expected. Also make sure when you're doing this yourself, the stock fin has this little clip on there. You actually got to remove that, put it onto your new fin piece, and then your stock mounting bolt should mount right back into this. This one didn't come with any 3M tape, so added some on here just for some extra, I guess, stability. And now we can go ahead and install this thing in. Yeah, this thing is pretty different compared to the other one that we took off. And just like that, we got this side done. Luckily, my tape matched up perfectly on this top edge. We got our stock mounting hardware back in on the bottom, so this thing is 10 times sturdier than it was before. And honestly, I love this style of front lip because it makes the front end look so much more aggressive. The other one did look nice, but it was very subtle. So this is kind of the before and after. You guys already know which one looks better. So now we can go ahead and do the other thing on the other side. But before we do that, we are gonna be installing some spacers. So we might as well throw those on now. And I think these are like 12 mil, 15 mil spacers. Let's go ahead and toss these on and we'll see how the fitment is on this car before and after as well. So this is the before, obviously not so aggressive lip. Our wheel is pretty tucked into the wheel well. You can't even see it from this front angle. But when you step over here, a lot more aggressive front lip. And our tire is pretty flush to the top of our fender here. It's kind of hard to tell because it's like right there, but from my eyes, it's perfectly flush. Now the only thing that needs to happen is the car needs to come a little bit lower. A decent amount, not even a little bit to be honest, at least 2-3 inches, and then fitment will be a lot better. But the spacer is a must. I've made a whole video on spacers for these cars and how they look. So if you haven't, go ahead and watch that. But yeah, I think this is a 15 mil. So now that we got our front lip on this side, spacer done on this side, we're completely done. We could jump over to this side and we're gonna do the exact same process. And I'll pick up the camera once we're done so you guys can kind of see the final product. And just like that, we got the entire front lip on. Yeah, honestly, so much better than what it was before. And now the carbon matches up with the carbon on the Vorsteiner grill, which looks absolutely amazing. So let's go ahead, throw the spacer on. That's the last bit we need to do on this front end of the car. And then we can start tackling the side skirts, which are way back there. The only downside is I don't think we have hardware. So I'm not sure what we're gonna do with that. We need at least 8 screws per side, unless we're using factory hardware that's on the bottom of the car. But I don't know yet because I haven't looked at it. So let's go ahead and throw the spacer on, throw the wheel on, and lower the car down. Yeah, that looks so much better. CSL style lip for the win. I don't know how I feel about the Vorsteiner grill, but it is very nice. But the spacers, if you do have the option of installing them, definitely do it. It makes the car look a little bit more aggressive than it already is. Yeah, now we got the entire front end complete. Now we can start moving on to the side skirts. Again, we still got to figure out the hardware situation, but let's see how it turns out. For such a small piece that, I mean, it barely sticks out more than 2 inches in some areas, but I will say it does make the car look a lot more aggressive. I'm really liking it. I don't have it on my car, so it makes me want to get some for myself. But one thing I am proud of is that this car is now put together 10 times better than it was when I got it. What I ended up doing was, the side skirts didn't come with any hardware, unfortunately. So I ended up getting some of these plastic rivets, and this kind of mimics the one that came off the car. So this is also a plastic rivet. You can't reuse it once you take it out. So I ended up getting a set for myself, and I used these to put the side skirt back on. On this side, I put 3M tape, but I think I like it without the 3M tape because on that side I didn't put the 3M tape, and I think that might be a little bit better because now it's more flush against the body of the car than it was with the 3M tape. I'm sure the 3M tape side will be a little bit stronger, but overall, not bad at all. So let's go ahead and get this car out and see how it looks. This looks so much better. As you can see, front lip really kind of brought out the front end, and the side skirts, I really want a set for myself now. I love how this looks. And again, it doesn't make the car look super, aggressive or anything like that. It's a very clean look. So you might be seeing this for my car here pretty soon because now I want a pair. Overall, this thing came out beautiful and wasn't too hard to do. So if you guys are looking to do this yourself, definitely do it. Well worth the money and the time. And the spacers, I think it was a good touch. I think he could have gone a little bit bigger, but then he's gonna have a little bit of poke. So I think this helps it sit right at the perfect spot. This is all the janky hardware that was on the car before. We got a bunch of Phillips head screws, some other random stuff, and a bunch of our broken plastic rivets. So we gotta clean this up, get this car on the road, give it back to the customer, and then bring the E36 back in to its rightful spot. And I just realized I didn't even record me giving the car back. So the car's gone. He was very happy with the work, but I guess that's gonna be it for today's video at least. Definitely stay tuned because this weekend we're finally gonna touch the E36 here and figure out what's going on with it. So we do have a compressor on the way, and then we do have the tools to do a compression test and a leak down test. So if you guys are interested in, I guess, part 2 of the E36, subscribe, and we'll probably get to it sometime this weekend. And once we do finally start rebuilding the engine, it is going to be down for a little while, but we'll continue the build series like we did with the E30 as we get deeper into it. So if you haven't already, go down, subscribe. We have a lot of exciting stuff. The E30 is almost back as well. We're so close to having that car back, and we should be picking up the fenders for the G80 this week as well. So again, a lot of exciting stuff and looking forward to getting it all done. But with that, I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.